Oh, oh God. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Gavesty here. This is the normal healer guide for Malkorok in Siege of Orgrimmar. Feel free to check out any of the other guides on screen there. Now, for healers in general, the best thing you can do to do well in this fight is learn how Miasma works. Miasma is an aura that's applied to the entire raid as soon as the boss is engaged. And if you're familiar with the mechanics of Heroic Tortos from Throne of Thunder, drew a blank there, this will be very familiar. Essentially, Miasma causes all healing done to players, instead of applying to their health pool, to create an absorb shield on the player instead. This shield increases linearly based on the healing done, up to a maximum of 100% of the player's health in absorb. Now, this is indicated to the raid based on the debuff Ancient Barrier. There are 3 different levels of Ancient Barrier to indicate how strong the absorb is. So there's Strong Ancient Barrier, which is a green icon, Ancient Barrier, which is yellow, and then Weak Ancient Barrier, which is red. So as a healer, it's really important that you have some clear indicator of which of those debuffs are on your raid members at any given time in your unit frames or whatnot, and you can easily find out which players don't have the strong green one so that you can heal those players a bit and get their barrier absorb higher. If any players take damage and they don't have a barrier active, that's permanent damage to their health pool that you cannot recover until the next phase, which is full 2 minutes into the fight. So keeping everyone at some level of absorb, preferably yellow or higher, is going to be ideal and the way you really want to go. Now, the next major mechanic for healers to watch for is Imploding Energy. This is cast every 20 seconds during the main phase, and it will create 3 energy orbs at locations randomly around the room. So you should see them coming up in just a moment here. They're basically purple circles, and there they are there. So when these explode after a few seconds of appearing, any player that's within them will take about 450,000 shadow damage. So again, all the more reason that the absorb shields from the barrier need to be very high. However, if an imploding energy goes off and there is no player within the circle, instead the damage is dealt to the entire raid. So it's always preferential to have a player absorb those. That said, obviously as a healer, you need to keep people topped off so that their absorb shield is high enough to soak this damage when it occurs. In addition to that, your ranged and healer members will likely need to be spread around the room so that someone is always close by to quickly step into these circles when they appear, since they spawn in random locations. So as a healer, be aware of where you're assigned to stand. Usually you should be opposite your healer partner if you're just using 2 healers, so that you're always in range and you can step in one if needed. Don't be afraid to use a personal cooldown as well if you have to soak one of these. Now, Arcane Smash, similar to the Imploding Energy, is cast every 20 seconds during the normal phase. And in fact, Arcane Smash always precedes Imploding Energy. So if you see an Arcane Smash go off, you know that Imploding Energy is the next thing to happen. So there's an Arcane Smash on the left. It's just a big cone aimed at a random raid member. It obviously does big physical damage if you touch it, so that's bad. But more importantly, your raid should be marking the locations that those smashes occur. We're using raid markers here, so you can see the first one was at the blue, second one happened around the purple-green area, and there's the third Arcane Smash. Now we marked it as red. The reason that you want to mark these is that after the third Arcane Smash and Imploding Energy combo, the next ability used will be Breath of Yasarj. So here's the breath there. Now, the reason that this is important is that the breath will apply to the cone areas created by the 3 previous Arcane Smash hits. And anyone that stands in those locations when the breath goes off will probably take fatal damage. So, by marking those locations, the entire raid, healers included, can stand in a safe location somewhere where those marks are not and effectively avoid that damage. The last thing to be aware of is the Blood Rage phase. So after 2 minutes, when the boss reaches 100 rage, he'll do his final Breath of Yasarj there, which is the second one of the phase, and then he'll immediately cast Blood Rage. The entire raid needs to stack up in front of the boss, as you can see here, because his melee swings are now cleave attacks, splitting the damage among targets in front. More importantly, for healers, 2 random raid members will get Displaced Energy, which is a heavy dot, and these players need to be dispelled, but if you dispel a player, it deals heavy shadow damage to anyone within 8 yards of the player. So, with everyone stacked up in the center, the 2 afflicted players need to run out to the side away from the raid immediately, call for a dispel, healers should dispel them, and then they can run back in and help soak up the cleave damage. This phase only lasts for about 25 seconds, and there's a lot of heavy damage, so use your healing and damage reduction cooldowns during that period to help you survive. And that's it. This process repeats after the first Blood Rage. The boss will do 25% more damage after Blood Rage occurs for the rest of the fight. So again, it's more important to keep everyone topped off with the absorbs. But otherwise, that's the basics of it. Pretty simple fight. As always, good luck, and thanks for watching.